everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and today I will be going over my favorites for the year of 2021. And there's a lot of items that I mentioned, I feel like, in the later part of this year that I really liked, and I'm not including them in this video because I feel like I didn't have the whole year to really test them out, so you may see them in next year's video instead. If you hear jingling, it's these. I just got these in the mail, and apparently they were in New York this morning, and I live like on the West Coast, so as my friend puts it, modern transportation is amazing, and I would know all about that. I also passed my PE exam. I found out this morning, and I was just in shock. I was really happy because I did not want to have to take that test again. So I passed my PE, and I still have 2 more tests to take in my state before I can get my license, so yeah. Anyway, these arrived, and they're really pretty, but they're really noisy, at least to me, because they're closer to my ears than the camera. And I thought, why not go all out and be extra fancy? So I'm also wearing these extremely painful clip-ons because they're so big, and they're probably going to turn my ears blue, but it's okay. Beauty is pain. Is it okay? I don't know. I feel like I just gave a bunch of life updates and I forgot what this video was about. But we're going to be talking about my favorites for this year, and I have them in this blue basket that finally cleared out. And I'm just going to get started with the first product, which is my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This is the XL size. I have used up 4 of the regular size of this, and I've also used up 1 of the XL. So technically I've used up 6 regular size bottles of the All Nighter Setting Spray, which is amazing. So this is quite full because I poured out the remainder of my last bottle into here. But I really like this. I feel like it truly makes a difference in my makeup. Like, I just feels like it locks my makeup in. So even if I rub my eyes, like if I don't rub too hard, but like I still rub it and I get eyeshadow on my finger, it still doesn't look like I rubbed my eyes it still doesn't look like I lost eyeshadow. It still looks fine. I've been using it for so long, I can't really remember what it looks like what my makeup would look like without it on, because I'm just so used to it. But I really like this, and apparently you're not supposed to use too much of it because there's alcohol in here. But if you have, I have oily thick skin, so I'm like not as sensitive to alcohol as I feel like people with more sensitive skin would be. That made a lot of sense. I'm just not as sensitive to this. Like, I would consider my face to be not very sensitive, so I usually can use new products just fine. Moving on to powders, I have this one, which is the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder in Translucent. I was debating getting the, I think, Honey. I decided to go with Translucent because I was like, I'm going to wear this next, and I'm going to be getting pale soon. So I was buying this as like my winter shade, and I kind of wish I brought my summer shade because I'm not really getting that pale like I would normally, because I am still going outside when there's sun. Like during lunch I go on walks, and I get tan very easily. Honey would have still worked, but I bought this after trying out a sample size, and those samples, they really work. So I ended up getting this in June because I had a $10 off coupon, so it was much easier for me to pay $29 for this, which is still a lot. It's almost $30 instead of $39 for this. But I really like this. I feel like I can definitely tell a difference between when I use this and when I use my usual Wet n Wild setting powder, but you know, I can't constantly afford I mean, I guess I could, but I don't want to constantly buy this. And this has lasted me quite some time, actually. I didn't start using this from June, but in my past experience, I usually use a powder between every 4 to 6 months, sometimes 3 months, which is really little. But I definitely noticed a difference between this and the Wet n Wild powder, and I would love to always be able to use this, but because I am so greasy, and I feel like this is more of a luxurious experience, versus the Wet n Wild powder. But I do like both. I just prefer this one more. I should have put the Wet n Wild powder in here too. Let me actually get it. This is another favorite of mine. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting powder in the shade Banana. I use this during the summer because it is much better for me than their translucent line, which is not translucent on me in the summer. I would not recommend using this to set a foundation because it will make your foundation darker if your foundation is lighter than this, obviously. And, well, I've used darker foundations than this and it still turned dark, so I wouldn't recommend putting this on top of foundation. Because I don't wear foundation or concealer, it's fine for me. I only use powder to mattify my face and to bake it. I think this is a great drugstore powder. Unfortunately, I go through this very quickly because I don't know why. How much is in here? There is 20 grams in here versus 29 grams in here. Oh, that makes more sense. I was like, why am I not out of this yet? I go through this very quick, like every 4 to 6 months, like I said, I will use one up, so. For $5.99, it's a good price. I'm not going to list the prices out for everything because I don't remember off the top of my head. Actually, that's a lie. I think I do remember everything off the top of my head. This is not as fine as the Laura Mercier powder, but it still works, so it's like a good, reliable daily powder. And I don't know if I'm going to continue buying this in the future. This is brand new, like I just bought this because I finished all my summer shades and then this was on sale. I was placing an order anyway, so I decided to pick this up as well. But I have gone through at least 2 of these, so it's a favorite. Next is my Innisfree Matte Mineral Pressed Setting Powder. I use this whenever I get greasy. It's basically a blotting powder, the way I use it. And I also use it like on days where I'm like, I need to make sure I have a video for tomorrow. So I need to pre-film tonight so that while I'm sleeping, my phone can upload the video to my Google Photos and then I can download it and then edit it. So yeah, this is basically what I use right before I'm about to film, like I did right now, except I don't think I got everything because I can still see in my camera that I'm greasy, but I guess I did eat pizza earlier, so maybe that's it. I say that like I somehow wiped pizza grease all over my face, which, well, I am a messy eater, but I don't think I'm that messy of an eater. It's funny, so I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but everyone in my family is a messy eater. I get it all over my chin, which is why I have a lot of acne here, and then my brother and my mom, they get it all over their clothes and the table, and then my dad gets it all over the floor, the table, himself, and it's just like, when my mom told me I was the neatest eater in the family, I was kind of like, oh, well that says a lot about the rest of you guys. So yeah, anyway, this is great for mattifying my skin, and I guess in real life you wouldn't see as much flashback because obviously I have a light right there. I have highlighter on my cheeks, so I know that that's why that's shiny, because I don't get greasy on my cheeks, just my T-zone. I think this is great as a blotting powder, but don't forget to wash the puff that comes inside of it if you do get it. Like, this needs to be washed too. Like, mine's kind of dirty, so I'm not going to show you. Moving on to cheek products, I have my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Sculpture palette. This is the holiday palette from last year, 2020, and I believe this year is like the marble palette. I thought it was marble at first, like I could tell, and then when someone said bacon, I was like, wait, no, that's better. This is what the inside looks like. Obviously, it's been really well loved. The bronzer has been long gone. I believe the first shade to go was Diffused Light, so the lighter powder in here, which I used in, under my eyes and a little bit in my T-zone. It was really pretty, but this is what's remaining, and I enjoyed every single powder in here, so that's amazing. To me, this was worth the full $80 that I paid plus tax, and I really buy things at full price, but this was amazing. I like mixing the highlighter and dim light in here to create like the perfect highlighter, because these days I don't really like a in-your-face highlighter. I prefer a more subtle highlighter. I am wearing just, I believe, the highlighter today because I am filming and I'm going to shower like right after this. So I'm wearing strobe light by itself so that it would show up on camera better than if I just mixed it with dim light. And the blushes, I also mix them together because I find that the pink blush down here, the pink blush is a little bit much sometimes. If I use just a little, it looks really nice, like, you know, just a hint of a flush. But when I mix it with this more mauve tone, I can, I guess, wear it on more parts of my cheek rather than just kind of like where I would naturally flush. And it makes it more wearable for me instead of almost, I feel like sometimes it's a little bit too bright, so I like to bring down the color and mute it a little bit. Moving on to blush, I have my Bare Minerals Gen Nude blush. This is a mini, and the full size is massive. This is in the shade Call My Blush. I really, really like this blush. Like, every time I wear it, I look good. Like, my cheeks look good. So this is what it looks like. I don't remember what the description for this is. I think it's supposed to be a rosy mauve or something like that. And I feel like a broken record at this point because I've said this in so many videos or so many takes. But they are, I feel like Ulta and Sephora are discontinuing this blush from the stores and online. But you can still find this from the Bare Minerals website. And when I asked customer service there, they said that they were discontinuing some shades, but not this one. So not all the shades. I think they were only discontinuing 2 out of many. I feel like this color would suit quite a range of people. As you can tell, like, this and me are almost the same color. Like, this is almost the same color as my natural cheeks, which is interesting. It's really easy to blend this. It looks really soft, really natural, even though it isn't matte. So I don't know what magic they put in here, but this is an amazing blush. Moving on to another blush with an inappropriate name. This is Nars Deep Throat, because why not? Why don't they just name their other blushes like Missionary or something like that? I feel like there is a blush named Missionary. But yeah, so this is what mine looks like. If you like how the Nars Orgasm blush looks like, but you think it's too glittery, which I have used up in Nars Orgasm before, I feel like it was more gold than pink on me. This is probably what you're looking for. So from what I've heard, this is basically a more matte version of Orgasm, as in it has less of those gold glitters in it. And you can tell I really liked it because there is pan in here, and I have another one because 2 friends gave me Deep Throats. What I like about the Nars blushes is that it's easy to blend, and I feel like you have to try very, very hard to get clown cheeks, and it also gives you a bit of a flush because it's not completely matte. So sometimes I don't have to wear highlighter with it, but I like wearing highlighter, so I feel like if you aren't a highlighter person but you want a more natural like sheen on your cheeks, this would be a great choice. Obviously, if you are my skin tone or lighter, I don't think this would work that well on darker skin tones. And the last cheek product I have is Nars Laguna. This is the birthday present from this year. I have pan in mine, and wow, that's bigger than I thought. Anyway, yeah, I liked this because it is more neutral toned, and from what I heard recently, I should have realized this. Bronzer is supposed to be warm, and contour is supposed to be cool. So this is kind of in between. I would say it's more cool toned than warm toned, which is usually my preference in bronzer is usually my preference with, I guess, brown powder that goes on my cheeks, because I prefer contouring over bronzing. So I really like this. It works surprisingly well on me. Like, I thought it would be too light, but it actually is very buildable, and because it isn't warm toned, it's kind of hard to look strange, because I don't always love the way bronzer looks on me, but now that I figured out it's because of the tone, I think I know which bronzers to buy in the future. And I like this so much, I bought a full size. So if you haven't received the Sephora birthday present this year and you're not sure what to get, I would recommend getting the Nars present. Moving on to lip products, these are all K-Beauty. So I have my Nature Republic lip gloss. This is the Eco lip gloss in the shade Latte. This reminds me of a lip gloss I really loved from ColourPop, but I don't support ColourPop anymore, so I haven't been able to get that lip gloss. And plus, the ColourPop lip glosses, I felt like I could use them up in 2 weeks, whereas this has lasted me forever. This is like the perfect My Lips But Better, but I'm wearing lipstick so you can't tell what color my lips are. It reminds me of the shade Flying Horses. It doesn't have any glitter in it, so it doesn't have that gritty feeling, and I really like it. And then I have my 2 lipsticks from Laka. This is the shade Charlie, and I have no idea what shade this is, but it's red. So this is an orange. Charlie's an orange, and I'm going to guess this is Yes, which is a red, and they're both muted. So it's not like a bright, like if you think of summer colors, it's not like that. They remind me of fall colors because they're kind of jewel toned is what I meant. So this is what Charlie looks like. So as you can see, it's orange, but it's not bright. Like it's muted. I don't know what you would mix to make it muted. I think brown. So kind of like an orange tan shade. And then this is, I'm gonna guess Yes. Like the shade name is Yes. I have it on my lips today, but because I blotted it, it's not true to color. But as you can see, it isn't bright. The formula is a gel formula, so it is very easy to wear. Like, it's not drying. It's very comfortable to wear. I would say it's kind of, now that I've like worn both MAC and that, I would say MAC is creamier, but it doesn't look as matte as these lipsticks do. Okay, moving on to eye products. I have these 2 eye primers, so they serve different purposes. This is the NYX Glitter Primer. This has like saved some eyeshadows for me. My biggest pet peeve with eyeshadows is fallouts and patchiness. But what's worse? I feel like fallout's worse because at first when you put it on, you think it's good, but later it betrays you and it's like, huh, just kidding, and you have like panda eyes. And I find that to be true with mostly shimmer shades or like metallic shades. Matte shades don't really have fallout in my experience. I don't know, it's probably the formula. This is basically glitter glue, and it really like sticks the shadow onto your lids. So I mean, there's still fallout for some shades, but it's much less, and it's like much later in the day. So like I could go a full work day and not have fallout, which is amazing. So I really like this. And you just need the smallest amount. This is very affordable for a primer in my opinion. But again, most of my collection has become high-end because I've just developed bougie tastes as an adult. As a working adult. And then I have my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I've used this, I think, since 2018 as well. Like, I can notice a difference when I wear this versus when I don't. So I'm not wearing it today because, like I said, I literally slapped on some makeup before filming this. But I can definitely tell that my eyeshadow is more vibrant. Like, it doesn't necessarily last longer. This doesn't prolong my eyeshadow wear, but it makes it so that the eyeshadows pop more and I don't have to use as much eyeshadow. I feel like there's less patchiness when I use this because I usually set it with a cream colored eyeshadow, which provides a smoother canvas for eyeshadows to go on top of. I feel like when I don't use this, it's harder to blend eyeshadow. My favorite mascara I've ever used is this. This is the Kiss Me Heroin Make Volume Control Mascara SP. And at the bottom, there is a dial. So I don't know if it's focusing, but there's a dial at the bottom, and you can actually turn it and adjust the volume. So right now it's set to natural, middle, and full volume. But I always have it set to full volume because I already have natural lashes, so why would I want to waste mascara getting the same result? I feel like the bottom does really work. I've tested it out, and obviously the more coats you put on, the more voluminous it's going to be, but I have tested full volume and natural, and it does work. So with like one swipe, I don't know what the mechanism behind this is. I feel like it like squeezes the brush, and just, like, you get less product as you are taking the brush out. Maybe that's what it does. There is also waterproof, so it is very difficult to remove. Like, I feel like if you soaked your eyes in eye makeup remover, like, sure, yeah, that's going to remove it, but I usually use a special mascara remover to remove this because of how well it stays on. I have lost lashes trying to get this off with just water in the shower, so this is some pretty legit waterproof mascara. As for eyeliners, I have my Persona Cosmetics, I almost said Identity again, 24-hour waterproof eye pencil, and this is in the shade brown. This is basically like a liquid pencil, like a liquid liner, but in a pencil form, and this is what it looks like. It is so creamy. Like, if you touch your lid, you will have a dot there, like a very opaque dot. I'm not wearing this today. I'm just wearing eyeshadow. I was going to wear this, but then my eyeshadow already looked good, so I decided not to wear this today. But I usually wear this on, how many times a week? I would say if I'm not doing like a crazy colorful eye look, I'm usually wearing this. So I'm usually wearing this. I feel like if you are looking for something that's a good value, but you really like liquid liners, I would try this. Like, my favorite in the past was felt tip liners, but I would go through them really quickly because they would get dirty and then they would run out of ink because I was using them so often. So I decided to just pick this up when it's half off, and I would still pay full price for this because of how good it is. And then this is kind of boring and it is unwrapped. This is the NYX Professional Eyebrow Powder Pencil in the shade Taupe. I'm not wearing this today, obviously, it's closed. I've used at least one of these in the past. I want to say maybe two. I decided one day to switch from the plastic pencil liners, you know, like the twist-up ones, the micro pencils, to a wooden pencil because I just felt like I was using up too many pencils too quickly. Like, I would use up a micro pencil every 4 weeks or less. So I decided to get this, and it lasts me, I think, at least 6 weeks, maybe 2 months or something like that. And I think that was a good switch because these are actually cheaper than the micro pencils, and I like the look more. Because this is an eyebrow powder pencil, it looks more natural. And I should have figured that out because in the past I did use eyeshadow to set my brows, and I would really like the look because it looks soft, and that's the look I get with this. So in the past I would also use really creamy brow pencils. Like, that was my favorite because of how easily it glided on, and I wouldn't have to constantly press to get the product to come out. But surprisingly with this, I like the look more, and it lasts a lot longer because it isn't an oil based, or I feel like it's not as, you know, oily or wet as those more creamy brow pencils, so it doesn't like migrate off my face as fast. It comes in so many shades, and there's almost always a coupon for $3.50 off at Ulta, and then these go for, you know, buy one get one free or buy one get one half off. So there's always a great deal on these pencils, so that makes it much more affordable, and it does last a lot longer than any brow pencil I've tried so far. I did buy the Pure Arch Nemesis brow pencil because I heard it lasts for a very long time. I watched Kelly's video and I'm intrigued, but so far this is my favorite. Lastly, we have eyeshadow palettes, and as I was picking them out, I was kind of like, wow, really? Because I think last year and the year before I really liked colorful eyeshadows, and I do have quite a few colorful palettes, but do you know what I picked? I picked neutral palettes as my favorite. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Wet n Wild Coffee Cat palette. I believe I got this last year because I remember talking about this when there were fires. So this is what it looks like. So unfortunately this was limited edition. Maybe they'll bring it back because they brought back the Hello Kitty collection. Oh shit, ow, my finger. Wet n Wild does make some of my favorite eyeshadow formulas because it isn't super pigmented, but it is still very easy to blend and you can build it up if you want. But I don't usually build up my eyeshadows, which is why I've been told that my eyeshadows kind of look like they're faded sometimes. But anyway, obviously you can tell what my favorite shade is, and every look I've come up with from this palette has been good. I don't think there's a single dud in this palette, to be honest, but obviously I have a favorite. Every time I use this shadow, I'm just like, wow, why don't I wear that more? And then I remember, because I want to save it. So yeah, but at the same time I don't want it to go bad because I wasn't using it, so I'm going to keep using it. But I really, really love this eyeshadow. It's like a rose gold champagne is how I would describe it. Like, it doesn't look anything like how it looks in the pan. Once it's on your lid, it looks stunning. Like, I think this would work on everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. Because it is kind of warm and cool at the same time. So it's, I don't know how to explain it. It does shift colors a little bit depending on the way the light hits it. Obviously, as you can tell. But I mean, I feel like all eyeshadows are like that. I should stop talking about this eyeshadow. I mean, clearly, I like this palette because of this eyeshadow. I feel like if this eyeshadow wasn't in here, I wouldn't be reaching for this palette as much, but this is very much so a one and done eyeshadow, so when I do reach into this, I'm usually grabbing this. And then my second palette is also very neutral. This is the Too Faced Hot Buttered Rum palette. This was from 2019. I remember I got this for free because I used points and a gift card, which I still have that gift card. So this is what mine looks like. I used up one shade completely. I believe it was down here. This one I got rid of because it just didn't suit my skin tone. But you can tell how much I've used this palette. Like, if I rotate it, you can see all the pans or the dips in here. So this is also a perfect one and done shade, but it does work very well with this lighter brown here, and this mustard yellow works very well with the other three shades surrounding it, and I just love this palette. It barely smells anymore, but let me just say, it smells a lot better than Christmas coffee, the new palette for this year, which to me smells like hair removal cream. And even though this shade right here is a brown with, like, it's a matte with glitter, which I don't like, but for this it works surprisingly well. Maybe it's because I only use it in my outer corner, so I don't notice the, like, very faint sparkle or lack thereof. But I feel like the shimmer in here actually helps it blend out better because it is more loose versus, like, I feel like Too Faced's darker mattes are usually very, very patchy and hard to blend, but this one blends out surprisingly easily. And I love this palette. I hope it doesn't go bad on me. I bought it for the yellow shade here, but obviously I do like everything in here as well. Well, everything but this one that I destroyed. It was way too light. So yeah, that's everything for my favorites this year. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I did mention enjoying other products throughout the year, but I feel like I didn't give it enough of a chance to put it in this video. Like, yeah, I could throw in a palette I just got, like Rack palette. I really like this palette, but I've only used it twice, so I feel like that would kind of be lying, like saying, oh, I really love this, I've used it twice, you know? Like, it just doesn't sound right. So it might appear in next year's video, but for now, these are the favorites, like my tried and true favorites for the year. And when I get done with testing everything in the next year, they may be in next year's video. So yeah, that was everything. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!